This is Showtime, a podcast about the people behind the curtain and the stories that shape them. I'm Andrew G, and each week I sit down with creatives, leaders and risk takers from the theatre world and beyond. We talk about what they do, why they do it, and what it really takes to keep showing up. Today I'm with the incredible Julia Grace, an actor known for her raw honesty, magnetic stage presence, and now her powerful performance in Red Stitch's The Comeuppance. Welcome to Showtime, Julia Grace.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to take you everywhere with me, just so even if I'm ordering a coffee, you can introduce me like that. That's great.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, like fish and chip shop. Welcome to the fish and chip shop, Julia Grace.
Please. Oh, now I'm hungry. It's 10 a.m. and I'm hungry for fish and chips.
Sorry, I feel that I'm partly responsible for that.
Always, yes.
You've been doing this performing thing for a little while now. What do you reckon were your earliest inspirations?
If I'm completely honest, my earliest inspiration is that I didn't have anyone to play with at lunchtime on a Thursday. And when
you just acted like you had friends?
Oh, no, I mean, that would have been smart, but I had no idea what acting was. No, I went to my parents and said, apparently there's this thing called drama that everyone's going to. Get me in because there's no one to play with. And I went to class, and it just so happened that class, they were auditioning for the first school play, which was King Midas. And we had to get up and be, an impression of a king. And I did. And they said, well, you have the main role. And I went, well, righto. I don't know what that means.
How old was that? Were you then?
Oh, I was like 8. I didn't know what I was doing. But the great thing, Andrew, my mother, so this is 30-something years ago, a long time ago. My mother sent me just this year photos that I had never seen before of me doing this role. I'd never seen them in my life, of like an 8-year-old Julia doing King Midas. So that was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to share them so we can pop them up while we're having this chat?
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. They're on my Instagram, but I don't know how to make that sort of technology. That's high-end technology that I don't have access to.
Sorry to push so hard on a Wednesday morning.
You are. Just take me back to the fish and chip shop. Yeah. So
and going from that kid looking for a social connection or a community connection to doing this as a career, is it something that had just happened naturally, or how did that evolve?
I feel like a lot of actors say this, or maybe they don't, but I do. That point where you go, I don't know what else I'm good at. I wish I had a talent for accountancy. I wish I had a talent for zoology or landscape gardening, but I'm not very good at those things. But I seem to get traction with this acting thing. So I think I did think about other things to do, and nothing grabbed me. And so this is where I have landed in this world.
And were your friends and family supportive of your career choice?
Yeah, they were. I was my father was an academic though, so he did make me do a degree before I went to drama school. I wasn't aware.
And what was that degree?
Well, it was an arts degree that majored in performance studies, but I guess I was doing other things. I had the other subjects in there. And then as I was finishing that, I was auditioning for drama schools. So yeah, they were absolutely supportive. I think they just thought, well, you should probably have a more rounded education. That's what it is, a rounded education. And it was great, actually, because all I did was do plays at the Cellar Theatre, which was SUDS, the Sydney University Dramatic Society, where I met a whole host of amazing people who now basically run Australian theatre. So actually being made to do the degree first was actually a good strategy. So maybe my father knew more than I did. Always, he's a very smart man. So there you go.
It's worth listening to Dad. So maybe I'm saying that because I am one, but it's worth listening to Dad.
Yeah, well, you can take this and make it into a meme and show it to your children, and every single morning listen to your father. There
Kids, listen to me.
Yeah.
Probably won't work.
I'd love to hear how you go.
Thanks. Yeah. Tune into part 2 of this chat.
Yeah, where you go from the theatre world to parenting. You could start a podcast about parenting.
Yeah, yeah. Parenting, what not to do.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Julia, you've played a lot of roles and told a lot of different stories. What is it about yourself that you bring to every single character, no matter what role?
You weren't wrong with the hard-hitting questions. Okay. Okay. You know, I'd answer this better if I had a potato cake, but okay, what do I bring to every role? Well, I think I'm quite good at not judging a character's circumstances. So with every role that comes across my desk, whatever, I like to think I'm quite open and curious about them versus judgmental. I don't want to make any decisions too quickly. The more you work with them, you know, with that role, the more you understand about them, and that's really exciting. So I'd say, you know, sans potato cake, it is openness, Andrew, openness, curiosity.
And is it curiosity about the role, the work? Is it curiosity about the audience reaction? Is it curiosity about how deep you can delve into that character and create the backstory? What curiosity?
Yeah, the curiosity that goes, why has this person made the choices that they've made? And with my life experience, how do I connect to that? What do I understand about that? Even if the choices they've made, I myself, Julia, would never make. Maybe I even find them morally reprehensible. But getting into their the curiosity is the questioning of why, and then I believe it's your job as the actor to justify for yourself under those circumstances, yeah, why you're making those choices, and that's part of the fun of acting, because there are definitely things you shouldn't be doing in life in your real life, but on stage or on camera, you absolutely have license to fully indulge and invest in those circumstances that you probably wouldn't in your actual life.
And do you think there's a story that you're consistently trying to tell through your body of work?
I have to be honest. I've always been really interested in existential stuff. Like even when I was in high school, I would love reading Beckett, you know, the absurdist playwrights. And then I've noticed, because someone asked me this question a couple of years ago, and I noticed, I went, oh, you know what? There's always death. There's always death in things I write or shows that I'm in. There's a lot of death.
Why? What do you think that's saying?
Well, I think because we're all just wandering around trying to make sense of this weird thing we call life. And, you know, the flip of that, well, is well, if you're not alive, then the other version is you're dead. So I think the theme of death is just well, it can be multiple things. It can be a reminder. It can be a catalyst to actually get off your butt and do the things that you want to do. It can, I mean, you have to have the antithesis in play. Otherwise, you won't value the things that are happening in life. So I think death is a valuable way to live, or at least being in communication with death is a valuable way to live your life. Put that on a t-shirt.
Right. And it's something that most of us are going to experience at one time or another. We may not realize it.
I think all, unless you become a robot.
If I just lost you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened just there. I think you got so shocked by death that you went into some sort of porthole of
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the moment this conversation died. We're going to edit that bit out.
You shouldn't. I think you should keep it in. I think you should keep it in.
I think we should keep all this in, all this crazy nonsense in. What do you reckon's the hardest thing about your work to explain to someone that's not in the industry?
Oh, I had about 6 answers pop into my brain. All 6.
Go on, all 6. What are the top 6 reasons?
One is, and you know, the actors out there, you would have had this when your relatives, with the pity that comes when they say, and how's that acting going? How's that going for you? You know, the condescension. So I think, yeah. Okay, Andrew, what I'm going to need you to do, because the 6 reasons made my brain fart. And so I need you to repeat the question.
The question, I think this is going really well. The question was, what's the hardest thing about your work to explain to someone that's not in the industry?
To explain. Great. So on the condescending relatives is that perhaps if they cared less about, and I'm not saying money's not important, of course it is, but also doing something that you find valuable and soul fulfilling. So a lot of people don't understand that. They go, but you don't make any money. What else is hard for people to understand? That the most actors I know are really bad liars. And people get really confused by that because they think, but isn't that what you do all day, every day? You're lying. It's like, no, we're actually not. We're really bad liars most of the time in real life. And so acting isn't lying. They lay people don't, I call them lay people, don't understand that. What else is hard to explain to someone who isn't in the acting world? Actually, and I don't have the science for this, but I'm going to say it's true because my mentors told me that it takes the same amount of adrenaline for an actor to walk on stage that it does for a firefighter to walk into a burning building. It may look like we're just having a good old fun time, but it's really hard work. it's really hard work that costs a lot physically, mentally, spiritually. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. They think it's, or they've misinterpreted acting for celebrity. And they look at Hollywood and think, oh, well, that looks fun. And they get cool clothes to wear. But no, it's hard work.
So what is the biggest cost of your creative life, and is it worth it?
It's worth it. It's definitely worth it because I think what happens when you're not following your creative pursuit is that your soul starts to get real munchy. It like starts to munch away at itself, eat itself. And so you have a choice. You can either not do the thing that fulfills you and then feel really jaded about it, or you can do it knowing that sometimes it's the scariest thing to do in the world. This play that I'm doing right now, for the first 3 weeks of rehearsal, I was like, why? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't remember how to act. It's scary. So it's absolutely worth it. And the biggest cost is, I think every cost is personal, but it's always worth it.
And you're in the Comeuppance at Red Stitch Theatre right now. Who's your character and what is it that drew you to her?
I play Caitlin. And Caitlin is a very complex human being. And actually all of the characters in this show are, because Branden Jacobs Jenkins, who wrote this play and actually literally just won a Pulitzer Prize in the last 24 hours for his latest play, Purpose, which is on Broadway at the moment. He creates such complex, expertly crafted people that, and that's always such a joy. And there is ease when you're given such beautiful writing and such complex human characters. I mean, that's the biggest draw card. That is an obvious yes. But Caitlin she's complex. She's complex, and I love playing characters that don't seem to that may hold many complexities inside of them. It's always fun.
And is she someone who you relate to personally, or is it a role that's really challenged your worldview?
There are definitely some circumstances of hers, not to give anything away, that I don't have in my life, that I haven't experienced, or views that I don't agree with. So that's a great challenge. But absolutely, there are other aspects, and I guess broadly about this play, about getting to an age where you think about the potential you had in your youth, in your 20s, and you think about the choices you've made, the decisions you've made in your life. And I think, that's probably universal for all the millennials out there. This is a sort of millennial play. So yeah, that stuff I understand innately.
And in many ways, the Comeuppance explores the weight of the past. What does that mean to you, the weight of the past?
I think we all have a choice in terms of how heavy that weight is. You either use what your past is and you let it fuel you in what you're doing now. I should have probably turned my email notifications off. That is such a rookie error. Oh my goodness.
Or that was a ding saying you got the answer right.
Maybe it was. It's definitely that. It's always that. Yeah, I think, it's not about regret. It's just about looking at the decisions you've made or the paths that you may have followed. And I think we all go, oh, what if? what if I'd chosen, that's why they've made movies out of this, sliding doors. What if I'd made a different choice? What would that mean about my life now?
And what is your sliding door moment? What would you have been that accountant or landscape gardener had it not been for performing?
Oh, for me personally, Julia, no, I would still be doing what I'm doing. That feels good to say. No, because again, Andrew, I don't understand tax. I don't understand numbers. So, no, the sliding doors moment. Oh, look, there are always going to be like small little things that you think, oh, I wish I had, when you walk away from an argument, oh, I wish I'd said that. That would have been cool to say. But that's, yeah, but actually, no, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. I feel very lucky to have done the things that I've done in my career and life. So no sliding doors, just one door for me. I'm happy.
Which is a great place to be in life.
It is. I'm extremely grateful that I get to work in a medium and industry that I really adore.
And with the Comeuppance, what sort of thoughts and feelings do you hope audiences take away as they're walking back out into their lives after the show?
One of those plays that addresses that massive thing that we all went through a few years ago, but in a way that goes, okay, but what did you learn from a pandemic? And what have you since lost? Like, what learnings have you lost since then that might actually be useful to bring back into your life? Maybe you do need to reach out to people a bit more. Maybe you do need to call that person. Maybe you do need to stop taking things for granted. So I think, hopefully it's an exit of a theater where you start to question how different is your life, because everyone's lives changed. And how different is your life now, and what can you do that maybe you learned in the pandemic? What lessons can you now put back into your life that were actually, enabled you to connect more to people in that weird time where we were so disconnected in a way.
And theatre's a nice way to do that too, isn't it? You're even though you're in a room quietly watching what's going on that stage, there's a sort of community-ness to it, isn't there?
Absolutely. And because we couldn't do that for so long and everyone sort of got stuck on their screens, and of course there's amazing stories being told on screen, but nothing can match what it feels like to be in a theater, in community with people, having a response. That's singular.
I'm with Julia Grace. We're talking about the Comeuppance that's on at Red Stitch Actors Theatre until the 25th of May. For more information and to book tickets, go to redstitch.net. Julia, thank you so much for your time at the crack of dawn, 10 a.m., whatever it is. And chookers for the season.
Thank you so much.